Welcome to The Debrief, where we talk with the Washington Examiner's top journalists about the headlines they're covering this week and where the story's going next. I'm Sarah Westwood, and I'm here today with senior columnist Tim Carney. Tim, Senator Mitt Romney has a new child's allowance plan out. Tell us about what's in that.
So it would provide over $4,000 a year for each young child below 3, and then just under that, as just slightly smaller amount for children over 3. And it would come in monthly installments, and it's the sort of thing that he's tried to work out an agreement with the Democrats on before. This one is a little bit different. For one thing, it's totally paid for. So in other words, they're going to change some other aid programs and take out some tax breaks to pay for it. And he's hoping this one can get enough Republicans that it can pass both chambers.
In the past, what have been some objections from Republicans?
So one of the main ones was a worry that a child allowance would discourage work, specifically among single moms. There was a worry that more children would grow up in a household where nobody was working because this child allowance was making it more affordable. So this one requires some level of work. You have to have made $10,000 in the previous year. So it's not a big work requirement, but the hope is that that can get enough Republicans on board. Also, nowadays people are really worried about inflation. Sending this money into the economy at this time really could drive inflation. That's why it's important that he's taking away some tax breaks and reducing the earned income tax credit, with the hope that not only is that budget neutral, but it won't add to inflation.
Shifting gears, we've seen more than a dozen, I believe up to about 16 attacks on pro-life crisis pregnancy centers across the country, some of them as severe as fire bombings. And those attacks sort of coincided with this foiled assassination attempt on conservative Justice Brett Kavanaugh. There's been some charges that there's been some media hypocrisy here. I mean, why aren't we seeing this talked about?
I mean, absolutely. When there are attacks, and there have been historically attacks on abortion clinics, it's front page news. It's made to be a trend. There's congressional hearings about it, and this isn't getting the same attention. It simply doesn't fit into the media's narrative, where they think sort of pro-lifers are violent religious extremists. The fact is that the groups that have organized the protests outside of Brett Kavanaugh's home and the home of other justices have been totally unapologetic, even in the face of the assassination attempts. They haven't endorsed an assassination attempt, obviously, but they've said, no, we are going to continue making justices feel uncomfortable and making their lives difficult if they're going to overturn Roe v. Wade.
What do you think it would take finally for this sort of, very real trends that we're seeing to break through into the mainstream consciousness?
I mean, I hope nothing happens that does make it break through. I hope that what happens is that the pro-choice Democrats, who are rightly totally horrified by violence on an abortion clinic, would say, you know what, let's make sure that we're being equal, we're having common cause, and we're showing zero tolerance about this. And if Joe Biden or Democrats started talking about it, I think then you'd get the media following suit, and then the public would be aware of this problem.
Well, Tim, thank you so much for being here today. You can get more writing from Tim and the rest of the commentary team at washingtonexaminer.com.